Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, the Global Desi Women. And I'm your host, Arti Solanki, a real estate broker, a business coach, a mom, a dog mom, and your host. Today, I have my co-host joining me today is Ria Palicha, Bhavna Shelley, and Vinu Palicha. It's going to be an interesting show today as we are going to talk about Indian superstitions. Like in the Indian culture, we have a lot of different superstitions that we believe in, and also it depends on the region that we come from. Um, Mostly, I know that from the north side, that's the Gujarat side, we have a different ones, and on the south side also there are a couple of superstitions that they believe. There are a lot of superstitions Indian believe in, and the most common ones are like the cat crossing your way and then you can't drive or go for anything, that you're trying to do some good work, then it's not a good luck. Then there is if you break a glass, then that's considered a bad luck. um Cutting your nails at night, that's not a good luck. Overflowing of boiling milk, that's a bad luck. I can go on and on. There are so many of those that we've heard about it as a kid. I guess our moms or grandmas or other family members, somebody must have told us, hey, don't do this because that's bad luck. Hey, don't do this, this is good luck. Or do this and this is good luck. You can't sneeze once, you have to sneeze twice in order to then you can move forward, because then it's good luck. If you sneeze one, then it's bad luck. So it's pretty crazy, with some of the things. If when I look back to it, it's it's bizarre. Like how many things, if you actually start following and believing in all of those, I don't know how we can live in our day-to-day lives, because and I don't even know how they came up with all these. Some might have some stories behind it or the purpose behind it. But mainly I see is like, I don't know how many people still believe in this or not, but that's what the discussion today is going to be about. And ladies, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on these, or if you know of, besides the one I already mentioned, if you know of some that you want to talk or bring it up.
Yeah, I can think of one. We were not allowed to sweep at night.
Yes.
They said it brought bad luck, but when you look at the science behind it, it meant that, if you're sweeping at night, there might be something that you may have dropped earlier in the day that you may, by mistake, just, throw instead of finding it.
Yeah, because there were no
So
lights, electricals.
there were, yes,
Yeah, that.
yes. So that was the idea behind it. But yeah, it kind of then from that idea, it just becomes like, okay, just don't do it. Why? Because it's going to bring bad luck.
Yeah.
That's how they enforced it.
Yes, yes. And also, like they would say, like, evening time, the Lakshmi ji is coming to your door, and
Yes, you don't want to.
you don't want to sweep her away, so you don't
Yeah.
want to do that. That was the other
Yeah.
thing I've heard of when sweeping at night. I know that's one of the things that I've heard of, that because the Lakshmi ji is coming on your doorstep and you don't want to show her the broom. So yeah,
They
I've,
made it as scary as possible. They made it
yeah, yeah,
sound as
yeah.
scary as possible. Yeah.
Yep. Bhavna, do you have any?
Well, the same thing, like, cutting nails at night.
Mm.
Like, because of lack of electricity back in those days, you would, you would wind up cutting your fingers or whatever. So instead of doing that, just don't cut nails at night. And, you know, kids don't listen unless they've been put some sort of fear in them. And that was the tactics in the back in the old days. Like, unless you're afraid of something, you're not gonna
You didn't do
listen,
it. Yep.
and you won't do it. So there's always a tactic behind it where the fear factor was there, but there was also a reason on certain superstitions. There were scientific reason why they enforced it. And you really have to look in the back. Something like, I don't know if anybody else heard it, but it says tying the cat during some sort of ceremonies, right? There was a story where in old village, one family was going to do some religious rituals, and that family had a cat. Now the cat kept on coming in and wasn't letting them do what they wanted to do. So they went ahead and tied the cat to a tree or something, right? Just for this ritual purposes. It became then as if in order to do that ritual, you have to tie the cat.
Oh, wow.
So some of the superstitions also are built based on that mentality. If that person did something, there must be something that brought them good luck or whatever bad luck. And we either want to do that or we don't want to do certain things. And then it just follows into a tradition. So, that also happens. And then there is it's like in Gujarati, it says, it's like Biladi Bandwani. And that's what it is, tying the cat.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one, but
Yep.
Yeah, me neither.
yeah, never heard
Yep.
of that one. Ria, the younger generation probably has no idea what these superstitions are. Maybe some you heard from your mom, but I don't think you have do you have any that you remember besides what we've just talked about?
The big one for me was the black cat running across the car. Like, God help me if one did. I was like, I would break. I'm like, oh my God, the world is gonna just turn upside down. I think the other one that both my sister and I share is the flipped shoes. That, flipped shoe can cause a fight in the house. So I wear slippers around the house, and if I'm rushing somewhere or I'm taking them off very quickly to go upstairs, if that shoe is flipped, I will run back down.
See
Can't
how
have a
fear factor has impacted you in believing that? It just that is hilarious.
It's a weird thing. I find myself even, taking shoes off at people's homes, like, with your foot, you just kind of like flip someone else's because you're like, I don't want to see that over here.
Yeah,
And the reason behind it would be to keep things tidy, right? Like when the shoes are laid out all flipped over and not in order, it doesn't look good, or it's just doesn't create that positive vibe. So in order to do that, like, no, the shoes cannot be flipped over, it has to be put in right. And that could be the reason why there these type of superstitions exist.
But when you add fear to it, people automatically start doing it.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And then it becomes like an OCD thing. It's like if you don't do it, if you see a shoe flip and if you don't fix it, it keeps bothering you.
Oh, yeah.
No, I have to do it.
It's funny
Yeah.
how people blame it on like superstition too. Like if something's
Yes,
wrong
yes.
after that, it's like, oh, it was like curse that black cat. It was
So I've
was
tried and broken this cat crossing a path thing where in one of my neighbors, they have a cat which is always on the street on our street here. So many times, like if I'm driving to my home and there it is crossing the street right before I can go past, nothing. I've just gone ahead. I'm like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? I'll find out. I guess I'm just gonna do
You're
it.
just
So
getting
I've done
home.
it a few times because it's there. It has happened so many times that I just can't avoid it.
Yeah.
So
But you
I'm
believed
over
in
that
it
one.
before.
I did big time. Yes,
Oh,
I would
wow.
stop. I would wait a few seconds and then I would move. But now I'm like, okay, whatever, because it's
It's a
happened so
daily
many
thing,
times.
right?
Yeah, it's and how many times am I going to stop myself and how long am I going to wait? So I give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my all-time favorite is, and I still like to believe that, is when I have a sweaty, itchy palm on the left hand, itchy palm. That means it's gonna bring me
Money.
a lot of money, and I like to believe that.
It was left arm. I think it was right.
No, left.
Oh, right one is the one that gives it away.
Yeah. I don't know about giving it away, but I always like the left one that
Like
itches,
you're
and
gonna lose money, yeah.
yeah, I love it. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get some money.
And then someone has like twitchy eyes, like,
Yeah.
if it is left eye, then there's going to be some positive or good's going to happen to you. Right eye, oh my God, like, that's not a good sign. So
No,
those are some of the, beliefs that we feel as
Yeah.
it might be true.
yep. I think the universal one is the eyelash. Like
Oh
every kid
Oh
will do it,
yeah.
when your
I
eyelash
forgot
you
about that
see and you
one.
put it on and you make a wish. That's a superstition, basically, right? So,
I
There's
That
but
was a
yeah,
cute
that's
one though.
that's a universal one. I think anywhere in the world you go, you will find people doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And it
forgot
is,
about that. I know how many eyelashes I must have blown in school years, like
Yeah.
before the exams. Oh my God, I had an eyelash. Let me
Yep.
pass this exam. And
It'll bring you good luck. Yep.
there's some
Yep.
positive ones out there. I've seen the, make a wish at 11:11. Like that's the like perfect time to make one.
yes.
The other one was in India years ago, a bird pooped on me and someone was like, "Oh, good
Yeah.
luck." Like that's so much good luck. And I found myself telling a coworker that she said two birds pooped on me on my walk. And I was like, I
Yep. No, I
luck.
guess,
Yeah.
yeah, you just say that so that instead of feeling bad about the fact that a bird pooped on you, you like, it gives you that hope that,
Yeah.
okay, fine, you don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And
Or maybe
that's
they
all there
just
was to
say good luck, and inside their inner voice says cleaning that shit out.
it. Yep.
There's some wild ones there.
I, I don't know, has anybody heard of not putting oil in your hair on a Saturday?
Yeah, because it's
mm,
the day of Hanuman, so
There
we
you
don't
go.
put
Yeah.
we don't put oil on Saturdays. And also my sister still believes, Krina still believes in not shampooing her hair on a Wednesday,
Okay.
because if you have a brother and you want to protect him from any evil or anything, then you don't shampoo your hair on a Wednesday. And I don't know,
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either, but
Yeah.
she still never shampoos her hair on a Wednesday.
I guess once you go past a certain time, it just becomes your habit. You forget about it being a superstition and you just form a
It
habit.
becomes a
It's
habit.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like anything the slipper thing or whatever, it just gets inside of you and you just cannot undo it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
but it definitely starts with a superstition.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not just Indian culture thing. I think all around the world, they all have different kinds of superstition. And even some just make themselves up, right? Some people have like, oh, this is my lucky socks, or this is my, this is the coin that I carry every time, or this is the rock that I have this. And it's just a make believe that makes them feel, I guess, better or feel lucky or
protected,
whatever, that
or maybe
protected. Yeah.
protected. The biggest superstition fanatics are probably the sports fans, because they all have something for their own team. Some people just watch their team games by themselves because they feel like, if I am gonna watch it with someone else, then the team is gonna
Jinx
lose.
it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they build these things up themselves as their own superstition. And yeah, it's
Yes. Yes.
and I want to talk about, like, yeah, these were like harmless superstitions, as they're okay, they form certain habits, they're really not harmful to anybody. But there are some serious superstitions that goes on within India that actually harms people, with a lot of, then you get into bad gurus or tantrics or whatever, and then they lure these people based on their superstitions and based on their vulnerability. And those are really, really, they're risk to communities. And those superstitions should really go. It's just
Yeah.
not good.
I think it's also a lack of education and lack of information for those communities that just fall into
you'd be surprised how many educated people also fall into these
True.
kind of superstitions
Mhm.
just to get ahead, just to get successful, or so they're so desperate that they go and get into these kind of things, black magic and all that kind of stuff. That's just
But
you know,
I would say that's not even superstitious. That's a whole different, that's a
but
whole
that's where it
different
starts, right?
thing. Like I would say when we talk about superstition, that would be more like tying a lemon and chilies out at the door and to protect the
Yeah,
eagle. That would be but following into like some gurus where or tantrics and all these things are, that's a different, I would say that's just different category of I don't know, that I wouldn't say that's like a superstitious, that's just the path that they're going for in order to achieve whatever they're trying to achieve. But
true.
yeah,
But they're true believers that certain things does happen when you do certain things, right? And that's where it's just like, keeping tying the lemon and the chilies, right? And
That's like
because
evil
why?
eye. Yeah.
Yeah,
mhm,
they're trying to get rid of evil eye from their homes. If
yeah,
someone lures them and says, okay, you do this further, it will benefit you more. Those people are more susceptible to just go for it. And
yeah,
that's what it kind of starts.
yeah,
And it starts with a little superstition, and then they don't realize when they get sucked into that.
yeah.
And
I mean, like
and
I
that's
do
really
believe
scary.
certain things, like especially kids if they're falling sick too often, or if they're, I don't know, if they're feeling like having bad vibes or something, I would circle lemon around them and throw it out in
Mhm.
the trash. And I do that very often. I'm like, no, that's and it's not just evil eye, but like we say, you can have even somebody's good, like, how do you say it? I don't know how to say it in English, but
Meet teenager.
mid-teenager, like you say in Gujarati. But even that is possible. And so I always like, and I was telling Keishan I would do that today because he came after so many months and I forgot about it. And it just struck to me that I didn't circle the lemon around him and throw it next time.
And then in India, I don't know if y'all remember, like if you are walking on the streets and if you see the lemon and
Lemon.
the chili
Hmm.
pepper, you go around
Cross.
it. You make
Yep.
sure you
You
don't
dodge
step
it.
on it.
Yep. You
Yeah,
Hmm.
dodge it.
yeah.
Yep.
And because over there, they're just doing whatever they need to do, and then they just chuck it out. It
Mm.
doesn't matter where it lands.
Yeah, it's usually they try to throw it around the crossroads, right? At the four
Yeah, so that
corners.
the car goes over it. Yeah,
Yeah, so they try to do it on the crossroads, but here we just throw it in the trash. So,
yeah.
but I mean, like I do that lemon thing, but mostly, I think that's the only thing I do. I don't think I believe in anything more than that. I mean, like if you have full faith and trust in God and then just do your daily things, I don't think there is much to believe in these kind of superstitions. And if
Yeah,
you're
because
positive, then it's a different story. Like I said, absolutely love itching my left palm because I'm like, okay, I'm getting some money. So that's something I like it.
yeah, that's a happy superstition. That
Yeah.
makes you
Yeah.
happy to know that, oh, really? I'm gonna get money soon. Good. But always again, coming back to the superstition thing, it started because, like you said, people back in the day were not educated. So in order for anybody to enforce such things, to make them do things, they always added fear to it. And that is how they would do it. But if we actually look at the real reason, then we can actually come out of it. We are not going to do it just because it's a superstition, but if we decide to do it or not do it, it'll be for the right reasons.
Yeah. How
Like,
much of this, Ria, do you think your generation, um, I mean, like you said, you still freak out on the sandal things, but what do you think about like when you talk about your generation, say when your kids are born, would you be telling these kind of things to them or you would be like, okay, I don't think I'm gonna impose these things on them, or
Mm, I guess it'll depend, right? Like I'm not like crazy about it to where, I like now, if a cat were to pass me by, I don't know, but it's always in the back of my head. And I feel like I would naturally share. And I even share it today, like with friends, if that happens. So I think if it naturally passes to people, then it's fine. But it's not like I wouldn't not let
yeah, you
them,
wouldn't scare the
know.
shit out of your kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of even, I don't know if it is really superstitious or not, or considered one, but like even when I was younger, I also noticed, parents or family telling me that, oh, like so and like this is a lucky, like this is considered lucky. Like I didn't have braces until later, and it was mom, I don't know if you remember that I had like the vampire teeth and I had like,
Mm.
one coming in the front.
Oh yeah, in India they
Cousins
said,
were like, oh my God, that's so, I hate it. And they were like, it's so lucky. Like, and like, oh, I
Bhavna
believe
had it.
you.
I had
because they didn't,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they didn't want you to feel bad about it, so they made it, and turned it into a positive thing and said that, oh,
Yeah.
that's supposed to be very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because it's like you turn those things into like a source of,
Yeah,
maybe like confidence comes from that, or like it's okay
correct.
because it's considered lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bhavna had those, and
Yep.
we used to tell her that too. And
I got it
Yeah, like
removed.
there is a gap between two teeth, and that's what they say.
That,
Oh, if you have a
yep.
gap, you are lucky. So
mm,
it's just a positive way
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
building confidence for people that, hey, don't be ashamed of your looks, but
It'll
yeah,
pass. It'll definitely pass. And like you were saying earlier about even like sports and like all those still exist. And people have their
yes,
lucky jersey, people have their ways,
correct. Yes.
their methods. And I think in some shape or form, like they
But
will
that's
keep
fun.
passing
That's fun
down.
superstition. Like it's not,
Yeah.
Yep.
harming anyone. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
At
But
least that one doesn't have the fear tactics.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like, somebody will
It's
either, the worst thing that can happen is they'll say, oh, don't stay in the room because every time you enter the room, someone loses
right,
or
right.
is out, especially in cricket. They'll say, oh, he got out because you moved. Okay, don't come here. You go back there.
Exactly.
So those are different, funny ones.
I mean, there are so many of those kind that,
Yeah.
there are some that, like we said, there are positive impact on it, and there are some that has a negative impact on it, right? But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it just matters how much a certain person believes in it, and how much you don't believe. If you don't believe, then I think it does not harm you. But if in the back of your mind, like if you have your subconscious mind keeps telling you like, oh my God, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, of course it's going to be bad. but
Yep.
but if you take that out of your system and start believing like, Nope, this is extremely fantastic, this is good, I'm okay with it." And I think it's all about your mind, because I think God has given us this most beautiful thing that is our mind. And if we can use, like, make it more into the positive way, then it works way better than the negative impact of all these superstitions.
No,
But
like I conquered the cat thing, the cat crossing the street thing. And yeah, it literally takes you that one or two times, and suddenly you're like, okay,
It
I'm fine.
becomes,
Nothing
yeah,
happened. Yeah.
nothing
Even the
happened.
slipper thing, if I do see a sandal or shoe flipped over, I will straighten it, not because of the superstition, but just because it looks better that way,
Yeah.
just that.
yeah. And I mean, like in today's, we are in the world of technology and scientific advancement. And, you know, I think it's, I feel like the newer generation are, I think, way better than we are as far as believing in all these superstitions. And, and the main reason is because they have access to getting answers to all these questions, right? For us, it was more like, our parents told us this, and we didn't have, if we asked them questions, it was like, no, just listen to what we're saying, there's no
Yeah.
questions answered or nothing like that, so we had to just believe in it. But now the kids have access to knowing finding the questions and answers on the internet. Like if there was something we tell them, they will be like, you don't know the answer, let me check why is it like this, you know? So they have more, I feel like, more control over what they want to believe and what they don't want to believe. And we did not have that.
True.
So it
100%.
yeah, so that, I think that itself makes a lot of difference, because I think if we had that, then there might be a lot of things that we might not believe in. I
Yeah.
still,
Yep.
yeah, and that's fantastic, you know, because even for me, I feel like there are so many times I use the internet just because we've been blindly following certain things, and then and sometimes it gets so irritating that I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me look it up, because this can't be right. Like this is not this is not possible that this is how
Yep.
it's supposed to be. Like for during the eclipse, at that time, you could not cook food, you cannot, whatever leftover food in the house or groceries, everything should be thrown away after the
Thrown out.
eclipse.
Yep.
And the reason was the scientific reason. It was nothing to do with superstition, because at that time we didn't have refrigerators, we didn't have, you know, controlled, like the complete airtight houses where the germs, you know, when during the eclipse there are a lot of I would say the germs or something was coming as
Radiation.
radiations.
It would be a lot of radiation from the sun, and that
Right.
those were harmful. If it goes into the food, then the food, and then you eat that food, it would be bad.
Yeah.
So that was the reason why we nobody would eat that food, or they would throw it out.
Yeah.
And there's another one related to that. If pregnant women,
Mm.
if if during the eclipse, pregnant women are not supposed to do anything, especially they're not supposed to use knives or scissors or whatever,
Yeah.
because then it would affect the baby, and you might see baby born with some limbs problem or something like that. That was
They would have the cut lips. That was the biggest
yes,
thing I had heard. That
Yeah, I don't know why they
yes,
said that. Yeah, why was
yeah. I
that?
don't
What
know
was the
why they
connection
said
with that?
that.
Yeah.
Who knows? But it was big, and even when I was pregnant first time, and there was a big eclipse during that time, and my mother-in-law is like, nope, you just sit there, you're not going to do anything. And because during this time, you just sit there and you don't touch anything, you don't cut anything, you don't work. I literally had to just sit there until the whole eclipse was finished. So that's, yeah, and I followed
it's mainly
because,
because you know, they want to protect the baby that's from the
yeah,
radiations, and that's why they just make up shit like, you know, don't do nothing and don't otherwise.
who knows, but
Uh,
I mean, I respected her because this is something that she really, really believed in.
yeah,
So yeah, I followed it. Certain times you just want to follow it because the person really believes in, and you
Out
don't
of
want to
respect.
break
Yeah.
that. Yeah, out of respect, you don't want to break that trust or that fear that they have in them, you know, and that's the reason why it was done. But yeah, eclipse is big one.
yeah, yeah. I still remember that too. I know my grandma used to be like, we cannot go out, and you know, after the eclipse you're supposed to shower and shampoo and everything, and so that, you know, just throw away everything, all the food and everything. And it was just big. It was very big in India. And I think it's still big. I think it's still big
Yes.
in India for eclipse. And then there are some scientific reasons, like I said, for that, but some are just too much. Just too
Yep.
much. That, and um the things that I remember my mom used to say is like, when, you know, she drops utensils in the kitchen and then there's a big bang noise, and she'll be like, oh my God, guests are coming to my house. I don't know who's coming. Like, I'm like, you just dropped it yourself. Like, that the guests are gonna come. Just like, yeah, I've been dropping too many times, so it's definitely somebody's coming
That's
over.
an indication. Yeah.
So those are some of the funny ones, then I
Yeah.
remember if you find a peacock feather, then that's very lucky.
Mm.
That's
Mm.
considered very lucky if you find a peacock feather. And I feel like the reason it's so lucky is because you rarely get to find a peacock feather in India. Like,
Exactly.
where do you find
Yeah.
those?
Like lucky penny. That's a
The
superstition. When
lucky
you find,
penny. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, when you find a penny, it's like it's supposed to
Mm.
bring you good luck.
I mean, that was a dream for kids. It was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
penny, like, oh my God, my life has changed.
Yeah. And then you take that penny and drop it in a water fountain and make a wish.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
yes.
When
That
I
So
was, yeah, when I was growing up, I don't think in India at that time there were too many red color cars. It was mainly like all white. There was like white ambassadors or Fiat white, and there barely would be some black cars, but mainly most of the cars were like white or beige. And if you see a red car, that was like a very lucky.
very lucky.
And I still remember we used to like, they say, oh, you see the red car, you do, you kiss your two fingers, and that's so lucky. And I'm like, now I think about it, I don't know how many times I must have kissed my own fingers. I don't know because I saw the red car. And I don't know what good luck it brought me, but I guess we used to do that a lot. I still
Nope. Nope. It was just a fun thing to do.
yeah,
Fun thing to do. That's it.
some were really fun.
Yeah, it made it I guess made the kids happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a game. Yeah.
The only part is that sometimes when they scared the shit out of us on the bad luck part, that's what the ones that I
Yeah.
hated. And I really didn't like. I used to have cats in the neighborhood, and I used to bring them
Mhm.
home, and I know my grandma used to say that, oh no, you can't have cats because they shed their hair so much that every hair is considered, I don't know, that much of debt that you would have or something like that,
Oh
some
my
bizarre
gosh.
thing. She had said that, so you cannot have,
Really?
yeah, so you can't have cats in the house. And I'm like,
That's like
uh,
major fear.
yeah, that's like, oh, it's just crazy. Too much. Then you can't swing your legs while sitting in the chair.
Yes, that one I
That would
remember.
take the money out.
Yeah.
There, I think now that once we get on this roll of talking about,
Yes,
I keep
there are so many
remembering things.
things. Yeah. A lot of things were done. Like this is not a superstition, but a big thing where, uh, we follow the taking out of your shoes or sandals outside the house. In India, we always did that, right? The scientific reason behind it is that you don't bring in germs. Very
Germ.
simple. So I guess there was no, it did not become a superstition, I guess, because there was no fear put into your minds that, okay, if you take the slippers or you bring the shoes outside from outside inside the home, then this will happen or that will happen. But
And I
again,
think,
that was,
It was
yeah,
a
yeah,
good practice back then
and
to
yeah,
do
that's
that.
exactly.
something is followed by a lot of Asian countries because
Right,
like in China, Japan, there are so many places in Asia that
correct.
they do not wear shoes inside the house.
Yeah,
They do
and the
that.
same way, all these things that we are seeing that they were converted into a superstition were exactly the same. There were always some reason, logical reasoning behind it, but
Right.
in order to make the kids do it, they put in that fear that if you do this, then this will happen, or if you do that, that'll happen. And lo and behold, it turns into something that you believe in, and you start following it, and you become scared that, oh my gosh, if I do this, this will happen. What about people who have cats inside their house, pets? They cross their path like in the house 100 times.
Yep.
So what then?
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, I have dog that shed so much, it's like crazy. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I guess it just depends upon you how much if you read up on it and if you find out the actual reason, then you may be able to accept the fact that, okay, I need to do this or I don't need to do this. You make a logical, educated decision on it.
And some
Yeah.
habits, I think, just like, I think even it doesn't come from a superstition, but it sort of evolves into one, that you think something bad is going to happen if you don't, fix it. And I think even with me, and I don't really consider it a superstition, but I think goes to my point of feeling scared that something bad would happen, is if I touch my foot on a book or like a magazine, or
Oh yeah.
I
Again,
have to immediately like touch
Yeah.
the book and
pay your
straighten my
respect.
heart.
Now
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
something I think we did for you. Like Ria, we
Yeah.
taught you that. Why?
Yeah.
Because in India we respect education. Books give us
Right.
education. Same way. So if we knock it or we kick it, then we are saying sorry to the book, because you're basically saying, I'm
It's
sorry,
knowledge.
you give
Yeah.
me education. Yes, I don't mean to disrespect you.
Yeah.
I'll do
It,
it for someone else. Like if they drop
yeah.
it, like, move over.
Yeah. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
the same thing. I do the same thing because it's we call, the Devi Saraswati, the
right.
goddess of education
Education.
and
Yes,
knowledge. So we
correct.
respect that so much that if we drop it or if we accidentally touch it, by our feet, then we do say
And we
sorry
give,
for it. And like we're like,
yeah,
okay, sorry, we did this by mistake. And
yeah.
also that also reminds me of if we touch our feet to somebody's feet.
Someone, yes, we
And
kick
then
them
we
by
also do
accident.
the
Yeah.
same thing. We're like, okay, oh, sorry, because that is, I feel like that's not more of a superstition, but that's more of a respect because we believe that every human being, there's a God inside them. So that's why if we touch our feet to their feet, then it's considered disrespectful of that human. And so we are like, we touch them and we say sorry, like, that we touch our feet to them. So, but yeah, the book parts, the education, that's a big thing. I know the papers, even the trash papers, we don't want to touch it by our feet because we're like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
that's still knowledge.
Yeah.
Yes,
Still knowledge.
yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah, so there are things that, have been kind of like stuck to us that I don't
Yeah.
think it's easy
Yes,
to get rid of those habits and
yes.
or those kind of rituals that we just automatically, it's like we do it automatically. We don't
Yep.
Yeah,
It's just
because we never questioned it, right? Growing up, we never questioned it. We were told you do this, okay, you don't do this, okay. Now our kids if they ask us why, so we have to think, oh yeah, why? And then you look into it, you find out the actual reason, and then you realize, oh my gosh, yes, it makes sense that we did this because that was the logical, reason behind it.
Yeah, but even though knowing that it was a stupid superstition, I think we still automatically kind of like, we're like, oh no, I hope this doesn't, like, our
Yeah,
first
yeah,
instinct is
for a
all
split
that.
second, it runs by you. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
yes. Oh yeah,
I just spilled milk. Oh my God. Like, or something like that. Like
yes.
Mhm.
it does make you think for a second and then be like, "Ah, it's just milk. It's
Yeah,
spilled.
but then
It's fine."
why was that told to us? Why did they tell us that, oh, it's bad luck? Because we were obviously, it'll make us pay attention next time you're boiling milk.
Exactly.
It makes you pay attention. Yeah, you better not spill
It's
it.
expensive back then, so milk was
Yes.
like expensive. So you can't afford to overflow it, overspill it. Nope. So you had to be careful while boiling it.
The milkman came only once in the morning.
Once in the
So
Mhm.
morning. That's it.
if you spill milk, you're done for the day.
Yep.
We can go back to the grocery store and get some if that happens.
Yeah, yeah. There are certain things, and even I think there's something about even like uh, if you're trying to go for some good work and then you always you know exit with your right foot out,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
so that way everything right will happen and nothing
Yes.
wrong will go. So
That may
like
Even
be,
yeah, Grah Pravesh, like when you come inside your house for the first time, you ask them to put the right
enter,
foot
yeah,
in,
but
enter with
also
the right
also
foot.
going out for some good work and then having like yogurt and sugar for good luck if
Yep.
you're going
I
to
still
do.
yeah, the
do it to my kids.
same way. Yeah. The same way when you accept money, you should always accept money with your right hand.
Right.
So right is
Yeah.
supposed, there has to be a reason. Actually, that's a good point. I'm going to look it up. Why is the right hand used for all these things?
Well,
For good things, like for auspicious
you
things. Like,
want me to say? You want me to tell you?
oh my gosh. Yes, yes, now I understand.
Because we used to wash our asses with with the left hand, so everything has to be done. Good things has to be done with the right hand.
Right hand.
There, Vinu, you don't need to
Right.
Google.
That's right. That's right. Now I remember. But
That's what
it's
I thought. I
but
had
it's the
something else.
opposite over here now. No more. See, this is how it makes you think. It's like, okay, it you were supposed to use your right hand because of that reason in India, but now over here, what with tissue paper? What do? You're using your right hand. So now what do you do? Do you go back to the left hand for all the
You get a
lucky and
bidet.
auspicious things? Yeah, no, you can't. So there, see that's again like what do you do?
I was
Age
like,
old.
I can't control myself. I have to give you the answer to this.
Yeah.
That's
No, I was
hilarious.
I was thinking more of like, how they say that you wear the ring finger on you wear your wedding ring on your ring finger because of the nerve that
Nerves.
connects to your
Nerves.
heart and all that. So yeah, I was thinking, I said, what is the reason for the right hand? I totally forgot about.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. See, now we have at least one superstition solved.
Yep.
No, but there are so many like that are just
Yeah.
crazy. It's just some have a good valid reason and some don't.
Yes, some
But
don't.
I think with the right hand, we also say that, all the good deeds are done. Even our what do you say, the rituals, all our books, religious books, everything
Yeah.
mentions about our right hand, right? Because mm, uh, and it's a good point. Like we do need to know the actual valid reason for it.
Well, in Hindi, don't you say Sida and Ulta Hath?
Ulta. Right.
Yeah,
Sida Hath and Ulta Hath. So when you're doing something, you always go Sida. Why do
yeah,
you want to do Ulta?
that's true. That's
So that's what comes to my mind. Okay,
yeah.
Ulta Hath is like Ulta come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and same thing in English too, like right. It's the right thing to do. It's the
Do
right thing.
correct.
So it's
Yeah.
that's why we always use the
Yeah.
right hand and
Yeah.
feel sorry for all the left-handies, but yeah.
Yeah, see, again, it confuses, it throws them off, right? If
And
you're left-handed,
and
what do you do?
yeah, and that was the another reason why parents would actually force their kids from the beginning to write with their right hand. I am one of them, right?
Done that.
I
I've
think
done that.
yeah, if I wouldn't have been forced to write with my right hand, I would have been lefty because everything else
Oh my gosh,
my
yeah, you have company.
yeah, my like I use my left hand the most for if I'm cutting, chopping something, my left hand will have the knife in it. But I'll write with my right hand. In fact, I can write with both my hands, but that's another story. But this is the reason why the parents didn't want their kids to be lefty. They wanted
Correct.
their kids to be right hand. Sometimes it was too extreme that they would tie their left hand behind their back just
Oh
so
my
they
God.
won't use it and they'll use the right hand. And that's how they
Yeah,
made them,
I didn't have to go to that extreme, right?
Mom really changed the course of my life with.
I did that. I definitely am guilty of that. She used to hold the pencil in her left hand, and I
Mm.
would be like, "Why are you writing with your left hand? Write with your right hand." And I would make her hold the pencil in her right hand. But you did okay, Ria.
I mean, look, I have a husband that's a lefty now, so we're even.
Oh, there you go. You balanced it out.
Yeah, so when my son started writing with the left hand, and I didn't say anything. I'm like, whatever, however he's
Yeah.
comfortable, let him be. So yeah, my son is lefty just like me, but he only writes with left.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, have you ever thought of this? Like majority, 90% of the people in this world eat with right hand,
Mhm.
right? Except for the people who are lefty. Why? Why are we all taught to eat with our right hand only?
I don't think we are taught. It's just a natural thing.
Exactly.
It
Like that's what
naturally
I'm saying. That
happens. Your right
like
comes first. Yeah.
right. So I think that's the reason. One of the reason is like we all use our right hand so much
Correct.
for
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
everything we
It's which
do.
part of your brain
Hmm.
is more dominant.
Though
If
dominant.
you're
Yeah.
Yeah, if your left hand side, your brain is dominant, then you're gonna become righty. I think it's the opposite
Yeah, it's the
way,
opposite. Yeah.
if I'm
Then
not
Ria,
mistaken.
Ria,
Yeah.
you must be really confused then.
Good one.
No, actually the people who are born with the more often a left hand side, and they're forced to do the work with their right hand side, or write them, their brains are activated on both of their sides. So Ria, you did well. Okay,
Yay!
because you've activated both sides of your brains.
Now that's a positive way to look at it.
Absolutely, because I am one of them.
Because
Yeah.
she's one of them.
Yes, exactly. No, but that's true because I guess you get used to whatever you end up doing. So Ria writes, Ria, do you do any things with left hand, or is it still dominant, or you just completely right-handed?
Eating and like functionality, like right hand, but I've noticed in general, like certain physical activity, just like left, I feel a lot.
Mm.
I think like my left hand feels stronger in certain things, but I don't know, like
Yeah,
just writing everyday things, yeah. But sometimes I just naturally go for left
go for a
Yeah.
left. Yeah.
for
So
something.
so Ria, when you're cutting, you're chopping and stuff, which hand do you
Right,
keep your?
right hand.
Oh, you're doing it on the right. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So you're a little bit
a little
more
bit
to
She's
of
a
the,
both.
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
It kind of depends. I don't know. Opening a jar sometimes, like left, left like wins.
now you're gonna pay more attention to which hand
Yeah.
you're using more.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
But this has been an interesting topic, and I hope our
Yes.
audiences have enjoyed this. And I would suggest if you all have any questions or comment, please let us know. Or if there is a topic that you want us to discuss on, please send us those as well. And if you want us to give out a shout out, you can do that as well. There is a link for that. And just we appreciate you connecting, you listening to us, and also subscribe our channel. And I guess that's all for today, and we'll bring another episode with another interesting topic. And thank you, Ria, Pamna, Vinu, for joining us, and we will all see you next time. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.